Did you stop hanging out with friends to stay sober? Quitting weed is hard enough as it is. When you stop hanging out with friends that you've had all of your life, you're really just adding to your own internal struggles. Let's face it, having friends on some level is absolutely beneficial to our life. We may confide in them, have conversations that we may not have in other relationships. At the same time, we might go out and have certain hobbies with these types of friends than we might have with those types of friends. So really, friendships or relationships really just are what life is about. It's who what do you want to do with your life, where are you going, and all those things along the way involve other people to some extent. So relationships really do matter, and it's something that you can't entirely avoid unless if you're looking to be some hermit off in the middle of nowhere. It's possible, but most people enjoy having some degree of friendships in their life. There's some value that they feel that they get from that internal experience. It's not the main issue, having friends. Sure, you can avoid weed, friends, and other things that remind you of marijuana in your life. But unless you address the root cause of why you have this addiction to begin with, chances of relapse are still quite high. Because let's face it, if you've quit something, that's just what it is. You're done. There's no going back to it. But if you relapse, you really just took a temporary pause in your addiction. So rather than just smoking every weekend, if you quit for a month, let's say, you've just taken a month off of smoking on a more frequent basis. It's just now less frequently as you've extended that timeline out to a month versus on a weekend. Plenty of people have friends that do things that they don't necessarily agree with or that they don't do themselves. But it doesn't stop them from actually keeping those friendships and still enjoying those relationships. I know plenty of people that are even in my family that smoke cigarettes. There's people that I know that smoke marijuana. This doesn't stop me from being able to be around those people, even if they are smoking, because I've already quit. I've already addressed the root cause to that addiction in general, to where I can be around people that are doing those things without some kind of desire or not even paying attention, and I find myself smoking again. So when you've quit something, it's something that is no longer needed in your life. Any addiction is usually serving some kind of purpose in your life, and until that need is met, the addiction will always remain. That's why you have so many people that will relapse back onto the marijuana, because that fundamental need that was underneath all of that wasn't met. So they were able to go a period of time. But when those issues that subconsciously triggered them back into relapsing happen in their life, they tend to go back to what they know can help them through that, or what gets them through, rather than having some internal state of, oh, I can do this, or even if it's difficult, I will get through this, and having some inner confidence. It could be anything really. It's usually subject to the individual. So let's face it, do you really want to be somebody that's off in the middle of nowhere, no friends, no family, at least you're sober? I don't think you do. Do you really want to be the person that doesn't have friends if all of a sudden you find out they smoke marijuana? Well, of course, why would you want to do that? And the same can be said for really any other aspect, because if you're around anybody in this world, people are going to be doing things, saying things that you don't necessarily agree with. And if you can't rise above that, those people are going to be something that you feel the need to avoid, rather than understanding that's just them. It doesn't need to be you. And that's a lot easier said than done. How much longer can you continue to relapse and be telling yourself, oh, I'm relapsing. It's a pause. That's what you're doing. You're just extending the time. It's no different than smoking and not smoking for 8 hours and then smoking again and then not smoking for another 8 hours. You're technically always high. That's just how it is. So address what's going on at the root cause, or continue down this path of getting rid of friends, or having to really be careful what street you may go down because there happens to be a marijuana clinic that you could stop into that you don't want to, tempt yourself with. And again, who knows? You could be driving down the street that you've driven a million times at this point because it doesn't have one of those dispensaries there. But, buildings come and go. So somebody might put up a new building or buy one of the buildings that's there and put a marijuana dispensary there. And now you got to find a new way to work, or that might just be another moment that you've relapsed. You might meet somebody at work and you go to hang out with them. They seem like a really cool person and you want to get to know them more, and maybe you went fishing, maybe you went over to their house. When you walk in, you realize that they light up a smoke. So if anything externally is going to be able to influence your ability to stay sober, it's really because internally you haven't made that shift needed to where that's just no longer a valuable option to you. Now, I'm telling you this, and I understand that you can consciously say, I'm going to quit. But really, you can quit for a duration of time. And often you will relapse because there's a subconscious issue that has yet to be addressed. So if you've actually not relapsed, I have great news for you. Chances are you probably won't ever relapse because you've quit something, and that's just what it is now. So if you need any help with this and it's something that you're struggling with, there's a Calendly link. Take a look at it and schedule a call. Take care.